Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Goose Thunder Network Bake Off. First and foremost, my name is Cole Burkhart. My pronouns are they and he. You can find me on Twitter at KingColeMiner, and you can find me on our website at coleburkhart.card.co. Real quick, I'm going to give a brief rundown about, and also please, anyone in the chat, let us know if you can't hear us or if anyone needs to be a little bit louder. But first off, what is a bake-off? So the term bake-off comes from the playwright Paula Vogel, who used it to describe a writing exercise where the writers had to create a script using assigned themes and elements. We decided to do the same thing. As far as the list of ingredients go, our writers had to use dice, getting clean, a musical instrument, rain, and a knife. So, real quick, why don't we introduce our very lovely voice actors? Alec, how about you go first?
Sure. All right. Yeah. So, I am Alec Schillinger. My pronouns are he, they, and you can find me on at Spatial Sphere, Tumblr also at Spatial Sphere, and on YouTube at the channel Companion Jams.
Perfect. Ali, how about you tell us?
Hi, my name is Allison Dauphine. My pronouns are she, her, and you can find me on Twitter at Dauphine Dolphin and at Tumblr at Dauphin Ordinaire.
Perfect. Brad?
Hi, I'm Brad Colebrook. They, he. You can find me throughout the internet as Holographic VA. Usually that's what I am.
Perfect. Logan?
Hi, I'm Logan. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm not really... I don't do much social media, but my Tumblr is Hyperfixation Station.
Perfect. And last but not least, Ray.
Hey, I'm Ray Vargas. You can find all of my socials at my website, which is rayvargas.card.co. Thanks.
Perfect. All right, and without further ado, let me see if I can do this right. We are going to be reading After Death, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so people can read it a little bit better. Perfect. After Death was written by Tiana Triana. We'll scroll down. Y'all ready? Mm-hmm. Perfect. Interior. Lobby. Generic lobby music plays quietly in the background. Maria is laying down flat in the middle of a pristine white lobby. She groans as she begins to stir, gingerly rising from the floor. Intern looks up.
Oh, good. You're awake.
The following lines are spoken in unison.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Where am I?
Where am I?
What is
What
this
is
place?
this place?
Stop doing that.
Stop doing that. Quickest way to get customers to shut up.
That's not very... Wait, did you just call me a customer?
You, Maria Espinoza, are here because you bought into some idea of an afterlife.
This is the afterlife? It seems rather corporate.
This is an afterlife.
Excuse me?
Many people believe in many different versions of an afterlife. For example, Catholics believe in heaven, purgatory, and hell. Ancient Greeks and fans of Percy Jackson believe in a kingdom run by Hades, consisting of Tartarus, the Asphodel Meadows, and the Elysian Fields. And due to an increasingly popular television show, there are an increasing number of believers in some sort of afterlife in which souls are repeatedly tortured by pop culture references. I haven't seen this show yet, so I admit I'm a little fuzzy on that and probably shouldn't have listed it. Anyway, all this is to say that what you believe is what you get. So if you'd be so kind as to let me know what your primary belief system was, direct you to the proper floor for processing.
What about people who don't believe in anything?
As I said, what you get is what you believe. They believe in nothing, so that is what they get.
Well, can't we change our minds once we're here? What's to stop us from lying?
I don't know. Nothing here. You could lie to me, and I really couldn't care less. But someone up there might.
What do you mean by up there?
Look, to be quite honest, I'm just what you'd call an intern. I'm just here to give you the spiel and you decide the rest. Any questions will be answered by whoever's in charge for whatever afterlife you choose.
So I can choose?
I don't care. I just need an answer.
Well, can I have some time to think? I only just got here.
You have 1 minute. If you do not have a decision by then, your afterlife will be chosen randomly.
Isn't time in the afterlife infinite? Why do I only get a minute to decide?
54 seconds.
Shit. Okay, all right, well, I was raised Catholic, and if I choose that, it means I'll probably go to purgatory and then eventually heaven, right? Because Jesus died for everyone's sins so we could all go to heaven. I don't know, I stopped practicing. What's a good fictional heaven? Those are always nice. I'm blinking. Isn't there a catalog or something you could show me? You know, like those lookbooks at hair salons for when you want to shake up your style but aren't quite sure how to yet until you're forced to make a decision because it's your appointment time and other people are waiting?
No.
Fuck. Okay. Time?
10 seconds.
10 seconds?
7 now.
You know what? This is all probably made up anyway. I don't even remember dying. This is a weirdly specific dream, and I'm gonna walk outside, jump in front of a moving vehicle, and wake myself up.
She storms out of the lobby, the music fading as the doors close behind her. It's raining outside. The intern is standing right outside, and Maria runs straight into them in her haste to escape. She lets out a surprised gasp.
What? How did you get out here?
Your time is up. Maybe you should have done your homework before you died. Now it's up to the roll of the dice.
What?
The rain is harder than before. Wait, that's not rain. That's the sound of dice rolling. Infinite dice thrown by the hand of whatever god there was into the streets and into Maria.
Ow! Are these all dice?
Didn't I just say I'd be rolling dice? How else are you supposed to determine results at random? Shh, I'm counting.
But...
Shh. All right, you'll be processed on floor 8,017,463.
Which afterlife is that?
You expect me to memorize an infinite number of afterlives? That's way above my pay grade.
The intern ushers Maria back into the building. An elevator dings, and the intern gently pushes Maria towards it as it opens.
Well, onwards and upwards. Good luck. You were a pain, but you were interesting. Hope you don't turn into nothing, unless you want to, of course.
Thanks.
She hesitantly steps into the elevator, which immediately closes behind her. The lobby music is replaced with elevator music. Maria realizes there are no buttons in this elevator and begins banging on the door.
Can you hear me? Hello? There are no buttons in here. Ah!
Maria's sentence is cut off by her own screaming as she is thrown onto the floor of the elevator as it rushes upwards, impossibly fast. Impossibly quickly, the elevator stops just as abruptly as it started, and Maria is thrown to the ceiling of the elevator before falling down onto the floor. She groans, more out of shock than pain.
Well, if I wasn't already dead, I definitely am now.
The elevator opens with a ding. Maria gets up, takes a deep breath, and strides into the brightly lit room. There is a large man, Odin, asleep and snoring loudly, sprawled across a desk directly opposite the elevator door, which shuts behind Maria as soon as she steps out. There's a large spear leaning against the desk, easily within the man's reach. Maria clears her throat, gently trying to wake the man up.
Excuse me? Hello? I'm here for the, death?
Odin continues snoring. Maria, quickly annoyed, shouts,
Hello?
Odin ceases snoring and stirs lightly. He looks up blearily.
It's rather rude to walk into another person's abode and yell at them.
It's also rude to be asleep on the job when you've got a customer waiting.
Odin, fully awake now, laughs.
You're a brave one. You'll fit right in at Valhalla.
Valhalla?
Yes, that is the afterlife you believed in, no?
Yes, of course. I'm just getting used to, being dead.
Understandable. Now, we just have to cover a minor formality. You, of course, died in battle?
Maria shifts uncomfortably. Odin doesn't notice as he rifles through papers and writes down notes.
I have to have died in battle to get here, didn't I?
Well, you aren't in Valhalla yet. This is more analogous to you applying to a job saying that you are qualified, and then we verify whether or not you're actually qualified.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, as a matter of fact, I did die in battle.
Great. I'll just verify that.
Wait,
Don't worry, it will be very quick.
Flashback to Maria's death. This is a small crowd cheering half-heartedly, and a voice rises above them, amplified by a microphone.
Are you ready for Victorville's first annual Battle of the Bands?
The crowd's cheers intensify. It is still painfully obvious how few people are in the audience. One person boos.
All right, since we've already got this competition down to 2 bands, we're doing a special sudden death challenge. Give it up for our first group, Dumb Chords.
More polite cheering, but there are a few genuine ones in there. Backstage, the other band, including Maria, nervously watch.
I don't know if we're ready for this. Dumb Chords sounded really good at my cousin's bar mitzvah last week.
Yes, but we're the only other band, so the worst we can do is second place.
We're not even a band. It's just the 2 of us.
Come on, there are plenty of 2-person bands.
Name one.
Us. Anyway, we're definitely gonna kill it tonight.
And let's get a round of applause for our other band, Penny Heart Bitches.
A scattering of cheers and applause. The heckler boos again.
Now that we have both bands out on stage, let's begin the battle. Dumb Chords, start us off.
Dumb Chords begins the battle with a slow intro that builds up into a high-energy drum solo. It's not technically great, but it gets the crowd cheering and dancing.
And Penny Heart Bitches, your turn.
Jackie continues drumming solo, but she is noticeably worse than the drummer of Dumb Chords. The audience loses interest. Maria rushes in with some basic guitar chords to cover Jackie's mistakes. The 2 speak in staged whispers.
Do your solo now!
What? But no one's paying attention, and it's our last resort.
Exactly! This will get their attention! If we don't get it back now, we're as good as gone!
All right.
Maria begins an intrinsically beautiful guitar solo. The crowd cheers wildly. The guitarist for Dumb Chords realizes that they are losing the crowd and decides to take matters into their own hands. Maria, getting into the music, starts dancing forward to the front of the stage. As she approaches the front, Dumb Chords' guitarist quickly yanks the cord plugged into their guitar so it is taut. Jackie notices and cries out.
Maria, look out!
But it is too late. Maria trips, plummeting off the stage and onto the audience floor, where there are too few people to catch her. There is a shocked silence, and then some people in the crowd begin to scream. Cut back to Odin's office. Maria is torn between the shock at the ridiculousness of her death and fear of the consequences of her now obvious lie. Odin sighs, shaking his head.
What a dishonorable trick.
I'm sorry,
No need to apologize, young warrior. That dumb chord guitarist did a dirty trick, tripping you with his cord. He deprived you of an honest battle. However, it was still a true battle. Congratulations, warrior. In preparation for Valhalla, please accept your final weapon of choice as your protection in the endless battles to come.
He conjures a guitar and presents it to Maria.
My guitar? This is my weapon?
It is the weapon you died with.
But it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight.
You would prefer a knife.
I think I would prefer not spending eternity in endless battles.
But in Valhalla, you will be endlessly drinking and eating and fighting. It is great fun.
I don't think I could win any battles without my band.
Then why is this the afterlife of your choice? Perhaps you are not the smartest tool in the shed.
You mean sharpest?
The nuances of human idioms do not concern me.
Alright, well, I guess I should come clean. I didn't choose Valhalla. I don't really remember believing in any particular afterlife, but I was afraid of oblivion, so I timed out and was given a random afterlife. It's just coincidence that I happened to die in a battle of the bands. But now that I know what Valhalla is, I don't really want to spend eternity fighting battles with my guitar, so this is the truth. I'm sorry I lied.
Well, this is certainly a lot to take in. And to be honest, if you are not joining Valhalla, it really does not matter to me where you go.
But I lied. Aren't I supposed to go to hell now, or whatever the equivalent is for Valhalla?
Is that where you want to go?
No, of course not.
There is a hell, as you call it, for oath-breakers and other deplorable souls, but you never lied. You said you died in battle, and you did. But if Valhalla is not the place for you, I recommend you go back downstairs and sort it out with the intern. They will direct you to where to go.
But when I was down there, they said I only had a minute to choose an afterlife and that I couldn't look at a catalog, so after a minute, they just rolled a bunch of dice and sent me up here. And I thought I'd be able to sneak through or just be turned into nothing.
Oh, that rascal. If anyone should go to hell, it should be them. I will go down with you. Let us skip the elevator. It runs too slow for my liking.
Odin thumps his spear against the ground, and he and Maria are transported to the first floor again. The intern, who was lounging reading a magazine, starts, surprised, and drops the magazine onto their desk.
Odin! Oh, what a wonderful surprise. I see you have a new warrior for your hall.
You're Odin?
Of course. I heard you have been meddling with mortals again.
If I don't give them a little push, they'll be in the waiting room for eternity. I'm just helping them choose.
You know you are not to do that. I will be sending out a mass email to other afterlife supervisors to keep an eye out for products of your laziness. Now, if you would be so kind as to provide this young warrior with the catalog so she may choose an afterlife which suits her needs, I'll be off to send that email.
Odin thumps his spear again and is gone.
So there is a catalog.
The intern grumbles, but snaps their fingers, and a large binder falls onto their desk. They pick it up and hand it to Maria.
It looks small.
It refreshes when you get to the end, and then you can save the ones you like to look at later.
Thanks. Looks like I'll be here for a long time then.
And end. Perfect. I really enjoy that script. Give me just a second and we'll transition over to the next one. All right.
Is this a little bit better now?
It is. Perfect. And we are back with Rega Mega by R. Setherman. All right. Exterior. The boarding school for the magically gifted, a side entrance steps. There's a light drizzle coming down. Mega, a student at the school, is sitting on the steps, hiding their knees to their chest. They're humming something softly. It's not exactly clear what, but her voice is shaky as she hums, like she's trying to calm herself down. A screen door, light, spring-loaded, opens, then shuts. We hear someone beginning to run down the steps.
Mega.
Mega doesn't answer, keeps humming. Ava gets closer.
Mega.
Mega hums a little louder. Ava gets close enough for us to hear her heavy breaths, winded from the running.
Mega.
Hey, Ava.
I've been looking everywhere for you. Are you okay? I heard about...
The rain seems to pick up. Far off, there's a clap of thunder.
Can we not talk about it?
Yeah, sure. Whatever you want.
We hear her sit down onto the steps next to Mega. It's a little wet from the rain. They sit in silence like that for a moment, and the rain gradually comes down a bit harder. For the moment, there are no more claps of thunder.
What are you humming?
No response from Mega. More silence, but from the rain.
My dice came in. The translucent green ones.
Oh, cool.
Here, wait, let me show you.
She starts unzipping a pocket. Over the sound, she continues. As she speaks, the rain begins to pick up further.
They're even prettier than on the site. There's these little gold flecks in the resin, and they're so...
Ava,
Yeah?
can we not talk?
Sure.
After a long moment of silence, the rain, now medium heavy, doesn't help the tension. And then the clack of dice, which are then rolled. Another roll. Another roll.
Ava!
I didn't say anything.
It's still annoying.
It's a free country.
You know what? Fine. I'm going inside.
We hear some clothing movements as she starts to get up.
Megs, wait.
Meg doesn't say anything, but she stops.
I'm just worried. They pulled me out of class to tell me what happened, and I want to make sure you're okay.
I'm fine. And I don't want to talk about it.
And I'm not going to make you do that right now. But I also don't think you should be alone.
You're not my mom.
No, but I am your older sister, so basically the same thing.
Another pause, then we hear the clacking of dice again. Ava's holding them out.
You want to roll them?
The dice clack as she passes them to Mega. Mega rolls the dice and makes a sound of extreme frustration once they've stopped.
Ugh. Both ones.
Try again.
She rolls them again.
See? Once again.
The dice clack as she sets them down.
I'll never be good at this stuff.
It's literally just luck.
Well, then I have the worst kind.
That's not true.
It is!
I mean, you get to go here.
Yeah, okay, but
You have tons of friends. You like your classes. You have an actual magical ability. So you don't have to worry about getting kicked out.
don't make this about you.
I'm not. I'm just saying it could be worse.
At least you don't have to worry about severely injuring your classmates.
The rain has been steadily increasing in volume over this conversation. We hear the first clap of thunder of what seems to be now a proper thunderstorm.
Sounds like you want to talk about it.
What do you want me to say?
Nothing. Whatever you want.
I was happy.
Huh?
That's the worst part. I wasn't even mad or upset or anything. I was just happy. It was really sunny, and Mr. Bronheim brought us all ice cream, and we were going to do the outdoor Olympics. Farah and I were pretty sure we were going to win. Our class, I mean.
Mm-hmm. So, what happened?
You know, I got too excited. None of us noticed the storm clouds until the thunder crackled, and then I couldn't remember the words to the calming song, and it was just too late. I ruined it.
A particularly large clap of thunder.
I'm sure you didn't ruin it.
No, I definitely ruined it. Part of the field got hit by lightning, and the rest was washed over real badly. Everyone ran inside.
I'm sure they can fix it. This can't be the first time something like that's happened.
Everyone knows it's my fault.
Okay, and? The rain is your instrument. Would you blame a violinist for playing so beautifully the audience cries?
No, but I'd blame them if their music was so awful it shattered every eardrum in a 30-mile radius.
That's not what happened.
It is!
At least you can make music.
That's not an excuse to kill people with it.
Oh my god, is that what you worry about? No one died, Mega. Literally one student had to go to the infirmary because he felt dizzy. Which sucks, sure, but Mark's going to be fine.
This time,
What?
one student was hurt this time.
In the background, the thunderstorm increases in volume.
What about next time? What if I keep losing control? What if
You won't. You have the exercises.
I can't just burst into song every time I have an emotion?
An enormous thunderclap. Rain, then silence, and more silence, then...
Ava, I'm sorry.
Do you know what I do when I feel like everything's going to shit?
Pause. The rain backs off a bit, like Mega's curious, and ceding the floor to Ava. We hear the sound of a pocket being unzipped and something metal being pulled out.
A knife?
Well, it's not just a knife. It's also a can opener, a screwdriver, a pair of scissors.
Wow.
I know, right? But you're right. My favorite setting is the knife.
She pops it out.
It's simple, works well, and it's the most sturdy tool. And when I'm really angry or upset, and since I don't have magic lightning powers or whatever to get it out, I dig holes with it.
You what?
I dig holes. It's cathartic.
Really?
Really. Sometimes I even plant things in them later, and instant positivity.
Is that where all those daffodils have been coming from? Everyone's been blaming Fiona.
The point is, here, dig a hole. No singing required.
Mega takes the knife, unconvinced.
Are you sure about this?
Go ahead.
Mega starts to dig a hole, very tentatively.
Come on, harder.
I don't want to break your knife.
You won't.
Mega attacks the ground with a bit more intensity. Above them, the rain ebbs and flows in volume. Ava sits with her sister, encouraging her.
Yeah. Take that, dirt. Get him. Show it who's boss.
Finally, Mega stops.
How'd that feel?
Good.
We hear her hand the pocket knife back to Ava.
Good. Now you can cry.
What?
You got the angry part out. Now you have to let out the rest.
I can't just cry on command.
Mm-hmm. Come here.
We hear clothing movements as she pulls Mega into a hug.
Ava!
Instead of responding, Ava just gently shushes her, soothing-like. There's a long moment of this, during which the rain is still light, and then Mega breaks. She starts to cry. The rain comes back strong, but it doesn't turn into a storm, just heavy raindrops.
There we go. There we go.
After a bit longer comforting her, Ava pulls away.
Hey, look at your masterpiece. So much mud.
Mega sniffs and composes herself.
Gross.
We hear movement, wet and slick, and then a little splat.
Ava! Ew! Don't draw me with the mud!
Ava laughs.
Try and stop me.
Oh, you...
She picks up some mud and throws it squarely at Ava.
Hey, my jacket.
She throws mud back at Mega. A continuation of the fight. As they continue to laugh and have fun, the rain begins to peter out. Eventually, the rain is reduced to just a few drips here and there. Ava laughs one more time, then we hear her jacket crinkle as she nudges Mega.
Hey, feeling better?
Loads. Thanks.
Of course.
And I really am sorry for snapping.
We hear more jacket crinkling as Ava shrugs.
It's fine. You can pay me back by magicking my clothes all clean.
I don't know how to do that.
You have rain powers. Sing my jacket a lullaby or something.
Mega shoves her lightly, and we hear a squelch as Ava lands in more mud.
Meg's gross. Time to go back inside?
Yeah.
We hear clothes rustling and a footstep as she stands up.
Ugh, I'm all wet.
And muddy. Come on, let's see if we can snag the good showers before the others get back.
Yeah, okay.
Footsteps as they both walk up the steps and towards the school. They open the door, walk through, and then it slams closed behind them. The end. Perfect. Thank you so much. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next one. All right, and now we have The Raven, written by Phineas Ambrose Savenchenko. I'm definitely saying that wrong, and I very much apologize. All right. Interior, cabin. Let's zoom in a little bit more so people can read that. Interior, cabin. Rain pours down, hitting the tin roof above. The crackling of a fire can be heard nearby. A man clears his throat before he speaks.
Eliza?
There is a silence as the person whom he called for does not answer. He tries again after a moment, this time with more calling.
Eliza?
Once again, silence.
Liza, are you hungry?
The man sighs as the person does not respond to his calling. He grunts as he stands from his seated position, the chair squeaking as it responds to his sudden movement. He walks, his feet making the floorboards creak with every step. He slowly opens a door.
Ah, I forget that you're asleep.
He takes a moment to compose himself.
I'll make some food for when you wake up. You'll probably be hungry by then.
He begins to walk back.
You always liked Goose. I'll see if I can get some for you today. It's November, as you know. They're getting sparse. I should have gotten some earlier in the season. I'm sorry.
He begins to put on a jacket, the ruffling covering up a slight cough. After he gets dressed, he calls out in a slightly louder voice than his previous soft tone.
I'll be back soon, okay?
There's no reply.
Okay.
Outside, the forest. A door creaks as he begins to head outside. The rain's pouring becomes stronger as he makes his way into the forest. A raven can be heard in the distance. Caw! He stands, watching the raven.
I've been seeing ravens a lot, Eliza. Do you remember when you used to tell me that story your father would tell you? The one about the raven he fed and that would bring him dice and buttons and coins as gifts. Perhaps I'll start feeding them.
He stops, thinking to himself, the rain filling the silence.
No, you never wanted them around, did you now? Perhaps I won't then.
Caw! Caw!
I'm sorry, little buddy. I have nothing to give you. I must go on. I need to grab my knife and shotgun and see what I can get for supper. Maybe next time.
He begins to walk along the barren woods, branches snapping beneath his feet.
Aren't they omens, Eliza? Or was that crows?
He pauses, still walking.
I'm not sure now. I remember you made a song or poem about how they represented something or other, but so did Poe and too many others now, I suppose. I always liked yours the best. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. You'd quote to me at night, or when we looked outside, or at any given moment that you simply felt to recite it. You used to sing it too, though you don't sing much anymore. Perhaps we shouldn't have left your piano. You would have been much happier, wouldn't have you? You spooked me there, buddy. I see you have decided to follow me tonight. Better things to do, no?
The raven remains silent.
I suppose not.
He continues to walk.
Eliza, didn't Poe's raven talk? Never again, he would repeat, or was it never more? I'm not sure. You did most of my remembering for me.
He turns to the raven, pausing in his walking.
Have you seen any elk on your travels, dear boy? Eliza always liked goose, though I doubt I will find any. I must settle for something else.
The raven remains silent.
I'll take it as a no.
He continues to walk.
I think you were supposed to talk, no? Perhaps silence is a yes. Never something you'd repeat. Never shall I find something to eat? Perhaps.
There's a pause as the two walk along.
It's getting late, isn't it? Don't you have somewhere to be, dear boy?
He stops in his tracks.
Hold on. Elk tracks. Do you see that there on the ground? Perhaps you had seen an elk around.
He chuckles to himself.
I guess we keep looking.
Ooh! Ooh!
Did you know Eliza used to tell me about a dream she had? She would see you in it. Or maybe your brother, or sister, or mother. A raven, watching us as we swam in the river, the sunset glistening onto the water, and you'd fly above, circling, over and over again. Omens, she'd tell me in the morning. But for the moment, dreams were dreams, and in her dreams, I don't think all that much mattered. You could swim all day and never have to remember once that you had things to do or a job to go to. Isn't that beautiful now? She used to tell me poetry about a river, but it wasn't Poe. I think it was Psychen. I'm not sure. Perhaps I'll remember it by the time we reach the river. It was about cleaning up your sadness or something of the other.
The raven again remains silent.
You're rather boring, dear Raven. I believe Poe's Raven talked. What do you have to tell me, dear boy?
He continues to walk. There's a long moment of silence, allowing only rain and footsteps to be heard.
I think we're not that far from the river. It should be anywhere now. Eliza used to love the river, did you know? I think I remember the poem now. A man takes his sadness down to the river and throws it in the water, but then he's still left with the river. A man takes his sadness and throws it away, but then he's still left with his hands. I think it still sounds wrong, though. I think I mess...
Ooh, ooh. The raven coos once more, interrupting the man and making him gasp. He shoots his shot, making the elk gallop away into the rustling bushes.
Fucker.
He sighs.
Can't believe I fucking missed him. He was a beast, too. Eliza would have loved him. She always liked elk, but she liked goose more.
He walks a few steps before the rushing of the river can be heard at last.
Am I talking too much? Is that what you had to tell me, dear Raven? I am truly a container of stories about her. Perhaps that is my demise. I must go home now. It's dark out. Are you going to follow me?
He walks back, the raven following along.
It appears you are. I understand what you have to tell me now, Raven. I'll be visiting Eliza's grave tomorrow. Will you take thy beak from my heart and take thy form from the trees you perch on when you follow me?
The man stops walking, simply facing the raven.
My chatter and stories have proven me wrong in moments as such. However, I believe that there is not much more to me. I may lose the elk, but must I lose the stories and memories I have of her living presence, dear boy?
There is silence, both figures simply looking at each other.
I am wrong. I am a man of stories about Eliza and the time she spent living, and you are a bird of death that remains sitting on a branch, watching my every step, still sitting, on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door. and your eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.
And end. Thank you so much. That script is gorgeous, definitely. All right. Let's go ahead and transition to the next one. All right, and we're back with Whodunit by Destiny Howell. Scene 1. Interior. Misery Manor. Night. Hawk and Kitty stand by a window as rain pours outside atmospherically. In the background, we hear light piano music and low chatter.
Hors d'oeuvres, Dr. Hawk?
Don't mind if I do.
He bites into a cracker topped with pâté.
Oh, this is good. Hold up, let me get another one.
And you, Miss Kitty?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Very good. Sir, Madame?
The butler walks away.
Madame.
You should really try this meat thing. It's really good.
I don't want to try the meat thing.
Are you sure? It's like fancy and stuff. I kind of want to ask if you just give me the little bowl and the knife on his tray so I can just eat it straight.
I'm sure.
Oh, come on, I got one for you. Just try a little bite and... Hey! You knocked the meat thing out of my hand.
Yes, I did. And stop calling it the meat thing. It's pâté.
I thought you weren't mad at me anymore.
I have no idea why. I never said that I wasn't.
It's just, I mean, it's been a whole night and...
Yes, a whole night that we spent trapped in this stupid game about murder the night before we know there's gonna be a murder.
Hey, keep it down. Someone could hear us.
I'm sorry. Am I putting us in danger by talking about murder in the murder game you got us trapped in?
Oh, come on. I said I was sorry. And how is this my fault?
How is this your fault? You're the one who brought the cursed dice.
You said your whodunit game was missing dice. You told me to bring dice.
Are you saying I was supposed to specify non-cursed dice?
I didn't...
Everything in your granddad's pawn shop is cursed. That's literally the whole gimmick. And even if you somehow didn't know that, we've gotten stuck in that game before. It was terrible. The Queen of Sweethearts tried to have us decapitated. We almost got mauled to death by those rabid gummy bears, and I was cleaning chocolate pudding from that swamp out of my areas for days.
I thought it was the board that was cursed, not the dice.
If a game is cursed, just assume all of the pieces are cursed. It's not like bread where you can cut off the moldy parts.
Well, I know that now.
There's a huge ominous crack of lightning.
And of course this would be the game. Figure out the details of a grisly murder in a definitely haunted mansion. Fun for the whole family. How is this a game for kids? Who invented this game?
You love this game.
Not when I have to live through it, I don't. I mean, look at this place. The gargoyles, the cobwebs. Did I tell you the reason I was late is because I accidentally triggered a door to a secret passageway and got lost?
That happened to me this morning before breakfast. Isn't it cool?
Yeah, if you're a Scooby-Doo villain. Walking into a house like this is like asking for someone to commit a gothically themed felony against you.
Don't you think you're being a little dramatic?
This place is called Misery Manor. Misery Manor.
You should just think of it like a vacation. I mean, we've been pretty bored lately. That's why we're doing game night. And we suddenly got whisked away to a fancy mansion with interesting people, most of which I'm sure aren't even a little bit homicidal. And they're serving us fancy meat!
Pâté.
Sure, and all we have to do is solve one tiny little murder and we're home free.
I don't get why we have to do this. Can't we call the cops? Doesn't this seem like something the cops should be handling?
I think it says in the instructions that the cops can't come because of the rain.
There's another crack of lightning.
Oh, so the mailman has to deliver my 20% off coupon from Bed Bath & Beyond through snow and heat and gloom of night, but a little bit of rain and the cops get to just shrug and check out for the night? And say we do solve it without the cops, then what? We accuse the murderer of murdering someone to their face? What's gonna stop them from murdering us? Especially if they know the cops aren't coming.
The game ends once someone figures it out, so we should just win and escape the game, right?
I guess. You better hope so, because if not, I am 100% using you as a human shield when things go to hell.
I deserve that. I also have an idea.
Please let it be better than your last idea.
Okay, think about it. We have one big advantage here, right? The premise of this game is to find out who murdered the butler, who is actually Mr. Lionel in disguise, and then whoever solves his murder gets everything in the will.
I cannot imagine what the meeting with the lawyer to put that clause in the will was like, but yes, that is the insane plot of this insane game.
Okay, but here's the thing. We know this guy is going to get murdered at some point tonight, but no one else does. So if we just pay close attention, we can figure out who's looking suspicious without them even knowing.
That is better than your last plan.
Thank you.
Although it would be hard for it not to be.
Okay, fair, but ow!
Okay, let's see. Suspects. You're Dr. Hawk, and I'm Miss Kitty, so we know it's not either of us. That just leaves Lieutenant Fox, Professor Colt, Mrs. Lark, and Miss Fawn. Hey, have you ever noticed that all the guys in this game have job titles and none of the girls do? Like, are we all fancy ladies professionally? Did all of us just, marry rich or inherit?
You're all wearing pearls and feather boas, so I'm thinking yes?
I don't know how I feel about that.
Can we critique the game once we're done going through suspects?
Fine. Okay, what about him?
Professor Colt?
Yeah, Colt revolver. I bet it's him, with the gun, and the motive is, I don't know, academic pride.
Oh, come on, look at him. He's a total nerd. There's no way he's ever shot a gun in his life.
There's a first time for everything. Besides, how else do you think nerds kill people? He's not gonna strangle him or overpower him.
He could use the poison.
Ooh, good point. I forgot about that.
Me too. Or I wouldn't have had that pate.
Okay, what about Miss Fawn? Sometimes it's the person you least expect, right? She looks like one of those characters who exists to faint on cue so the hero can bridal carry her out of the scene. Maybe her with the candelabra, and the motive is money?
Does she look like she needs money? She's wearing my yearly salary and jewelry just around her neck.
No, but rich people always want more money. That's like their whole deal.
What about Lieutenant Fox? He's a military guy. He'd know how to kill someone for sure.
Yeah, but he's getting blackout drunk in the corner by the piano. I don't know that he's in tip-top murdering condition right now.
Maybe he's a mean drunk.
Ugh, this is pointless. We're trying to figure it out logically, but it's all random in the game. You just shuffle cards and draw. There's no rhyme or reason. It can even be yourself, which doesn't make any sense. Like, how would you commit a murder without knowing it? And why would you accuse yourself if you did? And how... Wait, where are you going?
I had an idea.
On how to figure out who the murderer is?
Better. Hey, Mr. Butler. Hey, Mr. Butler.
Yes, Dr. Hawk?
You're getting more pate?
We hear the shing of a knife and then a stab. The butler gasps, hit.
Oh my god!
I accuse myself with the pate knife, and the motive is getting out of here before she kills me.
Horrified screams in the background meld with a din 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 game show style sound effect, and then a whoosh as they're transported out of the game. Scene 2, interior, Kitty's living room, day.
Oh my god. We're back! That worked! You're a genius!
I can't believe that worked.
What do you mean you can't believe that worked? You stabbed someone without discussing it with me on a hunch?
Ow!
I take it back. You're an idiot. I don't care how bored we get, I am never playing another board game with you again.
Okay, I guess that's fair. Although...
I don't like that although.
Okay, hear me out. We know that the dice work with any game now, right? And don't you have a copy of Star Wars Monopoly lying around? What if we just...
No.
Hear me out. We could just...
Absolutely not. And I am confiscating those dice.
Oh, come on, you're not imagining the potential.
I'm imagining us potentially dead.
Okay, but you're not hearing me. Picture this.
Gradually fade out to silence on the last lines. And end of episode. All right. Well, gang, it looks like we have about 10 more minutes left. Are y'all feeling up to our additional script?
Yee.
Heck yeah.
Cool. All right. Give me 1 second then.
Level test 1, 2.
Yep. All right, folks, we are back with our very last script. This is The Punishment of Zane Nichols by Frank Zinzius. A den of reporters talking all at once. Finally, a single voice emerges over the crowd.
Hello, I'm Eric Scott with Channel 6 News, coming to you live from the courthouse where convicted burglar Zane Nichols, also known as the Raven, is about to be sentenced after his conviction last month. The rumor mill is swirling over what that sentence may be, ranging from life in prison to the bizarre punishment of being sent to the past. If that ends up being the case, it would be the first such punishment of its kind. I want to take a moment to remind you of Nichols' crimes. The pin the governor of America used to sign the peace treaty to end the North American War went missing from the display case in their residence, replaced with 1 million euros from the European Bank. And then, another 6 months later, the European president's house was broken into, and crown jewels were taken, and the American governor's pin and a calling card was left on the president's nightstand. The same calling card from the other crime scenes, a card saying simply, "Nevermore." All told, Nichols was convicted on 16 counts of burglary, theft, breaking and entering, and 1 charge of assault, after apparently shaving the unified Korean president's glorious hair with the Chinese premier's knife. The world recognized a week of mourning for that. All similarly high profile. In a shocking move, the French governor, who had his desk stolen, it was recovered a few weeks later from the Chinese premier's office when his ceremonial knife was stolen, put pressure on the European courts to throw the book at Nichols. It seems his Honorable Judge O'Connor has his job cut. Okay, we have received word that the judge has entered the courtroom. I'll throw it to the camera in the room.
Please be seated. This was an unusual case from beginning to end. All the victims were powerful politicians who in the end had their stolen merchandise returned, except for the poor Korean president's hair. No, the real crime here is that one person was able to break into some of the most secure buildings in the world and pull his pranks and escape every time. I must admit that it reminds me of the fabled bard Rainbringer from the Middle Ages. After much discussion, it was decided that Nichols could not be allowed to share their secrets or any secrets they may have gleaned from any of the victims. The best way we can ensure that is an unprecedented punishment. One that has never been used in the history of punishments. Zane Nichols, you are hereby sentenced to the Middle Ages.
Gasp and murmurs throughout the courtroom.
Silence! The sentence is to be carried out immediately.
A heavy synth modern musical number starts. The judge flips a switch and lightning crackles. Nichols starts to scream. And after a second, the music changes to medieval stings and a wind song. Nichols stops screaming as they hit the grassy ground. Nichols groans, pukes, and passes out. Scene change. Nichols groans as he comes to, a lute playing in the background.
Hello? Sir, are you awake?
Obviously. What is that a lute?
Obviously. Are you alright? You were asleep for a long time.
I'm fine.
Are you sure? We thought you were dead.
Yes, I'm fine. Who are you?
I'm Jelana, the eldest daughter of Malkar Tarstag.
And where am I?
You're on Tallstag Farm.
What country?
Are you sure you're alright?
I've traveled a long way. Just answer the question, please.
Dracor.
Oh, that's a fantasy as hell name. All I need now are some dice, and I can pretend I'm playing a tabletop role-playing game.
Language, sir, please.
Oh, whatever.
I'm going to get my father. He wanted to know when you awoke.
A curtain flaps open, and then a wood door opens and closes.
Oh, I wish they would have warned me about the headache. Christ!
Hello, friend.
I'm not your friend.
Well, you are now. The potions we gave you were not cheap, and frankly, after you were disrespectful towards my daughter, I'm not inclined to let the debt go.
I'd love to see you try to make me pay.
The sound of a blade being pulled from a sheath.
Friend, you have 3 choices. 1, you work for me, and you pay off your debt. 2, I call the guard, and they take you to the dungeon. 3...
No, you don't have to call the cops. I'll work for you, I promise.
Great.
Blade goes back in the sheath.
As it happens, King Ulde is demanding men from each of the various farms in his kingdom.
So? What? You're gonna send me to this King Ulde?
I'm not going to let you stay here. You appeared out of nowhere and disrespected my daughter. An ambassador of the king will be here tomorrow to collect our representatives, namely you. But there will be a couple of others as well.
If it's all the same to you, I'd much rather stay here and work your farm. I'm not really much of a fighter.
I doubt he wants men for a fight. There was a rumor that the king is going to hold a tournament, but all we get this far out are rumors.
How far out are we?
About 2 weeks as the crow flies.
And how far to the nearest city?
City?
Yeah, like the place where you sell stuff. The market, perhaps.
Well, we grow most of our own food. There is a textile shop about a day's ride south of here. Why are you asking these questions? You should know all this.
I hit my head really hard.
Right. Either way, we are keeping you locked up here until the ambassador arrives tomorrow.
Well, you can't do that!
I can, and you may notice I have.
Zane rattles chains.
Get these off of me!
Sure. When the ambassador comes in the morning, I'll come by before then and give you a chance to get cleaned up.
The curtain rustles as Malatar starts to leave.
Will you at least feed me?
Yes, I can, at the very least, do that. Someone will be by shortly.
Door opens and closes.
Ah, fuck, I really need to get out of here.
Chains rattle.
What do the locks look like? Pretty rudimentary. I think I could pick these pretty easily. And I didn't hear a lock on the door. Escaping shouldn't be too big a deal. Wish my head would quit hurting.
Door opens and closes.
Here's your food.
Chains rattle.
What is this?
Mutton and water.
Door opens.
Wait, you aren't going to stay and chat?
No.
Door closes.
Rude. This looks gross. But I'm really hungry. Oh! This actually isn't bad. I really need some spices, but otherwise this is pretty good. Okay. Now's as good a time as any.
Muffled sound of the plate breaking, and then the chains and the lock rattles. After a few seconds, the lock clicks open, and the chains rattle and hit the cot. Hurried footsteps, and the door opens slightly.
Looks clear.
Door opens and running footsteps. After a few seconds, Zane enters a wooded area and fades out. And end. All right. Perfect. And I believe that is all the scripts we have. So thank you so much, our lovely voice actors, and thank you so much to our audience for tuning in and then listening. Real quick, we'll go back through our actors and say where everyone can find them. My name is Cole Burkhart. Once again, my pronouns are they and he. You can find me on Twitter at KingCoalMiner, and you can find me on my website at coleburkhart.card.co. Alec, where can we find you?
Yep. You can find me on Twitter and Tumblr at Spatial Sphere and YouTube at the channel Companion Jams.
Perfect. Allison, where can we find you?
You can find me once again on Twitter at DauphineDolphin and on Tumblr at DauphinOrdinaire.
Perfect. Brad?
You can find me on Twitter as HolographicVA and also at my website, holographicva.card.co.
All right. Logan?
You can find me on Tumblr at Hyperfixation Station.
And last but not least, Ray, where can we find you?
Yeah, all of my social media links are up on my website, which is rayvargas.card.co. That's card with 2 R's.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys, and y'all have a good day, okay? Bye.